be tolerated on our ground floor billboard. Thank you for your assistance in providing a good positive atmosphere. In accordance with tradition at Sullivan University, we will begin with a word of prayer, which will be offered by Lauren Fowler.
Every time and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for this beautiful evening we have to play soccer. We're so grateful for this university. We're grateful for Brevard and that we're able to cover the churches. Heavenly Father, we pray that there will be no issues tonight. We pray that we may be able to enjoy this wonderful weather and play hard and have lots of fun. Heavenly Father, we're grateful for our families and for everyone that is out here supporting us. We pray that the Lord will have a safe drive home, and we pray that any individuals or families who are sitting at this time that they may be able to feel the love of the Son Jesus Christ. We're grateful for Jesus Christ and his example to each and every one of us to become better. We love you and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
And now for the starting lineup. Starting tonight for the Tornadoes. At middle fielder, number 3, Yara Porcelli. At defense, number 4, Haley Bryan. At middle fielder, number 5, Haley Clay. At forward, number 7, Abby Mayer. At middle fielder, number 9, Austin Hoffman. At defense, number 10, Abby Worthington. At forward, number 11, Grace Black. At middle fielder, number 26, Emma Murray. At defense, number 28, N.K. Smoke. At middle fielder, number 29, Autumn Wright. At in the goal, number 1, Nicole Arroyo. The Tornadoes are coached by Juan Mascaro and assisted by Juan Mascaro Jr., Sally Wigan, and Rebecca Rojas. And now starting for your night, at defense, number 4, Haley Gadd. At defense, number 5, Paige Bavarzo. At middle fielder, number 6, Claire Stevens. At forward, number 7, Nakia Murray. At forward, number 8, Macy Rackham. At defense, number 9, Ella Thomas. At middle fielder, number 17, Mabel Harris. At middle fielder, number 19, McKenna Winterton. At middle fielder, number 25, Ellie Owen. At defense, number 28, Annalise Huber. And in the goal for the night, 00, Katrina Gardner. The Knights are coached by Rob Dahl and assisted by Eric Dahl, Shelby Torian, and Jacob Solis. Now if you all please rise and face the flag for the singing of our nation's national anthem by Evelyn Melville and Liz Borbage.
1, 2. Oh, Jane, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad strength and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we
Thank you.
Hello to all of our friends tuning in tonight to Knight Stadium for today's USA South Women's Soccer Championship Final. It's a beautiful evening in Buena Vista at Southern Virginia University as this matchup pivots the #1 seed Southern Virginia University Knights and the #3 seed Brevard College Tornadoes. My name is Quinn Meyer. Joined alongside me today again is Colby Kemp. For Colby, this will be a rematch to last year's quarterfinal in the USA South tournament where Southern Virginia took that matchup in penalties to advance to the semifinal. But both teams vastly improved squads heading into tonight's matchup. A really exciting matchup. Obviously, Brevard very strong defensively, but also has been able to score goals when it counts. Then, of course, Southern Virginia, they've been ball hawks all year long, dominating possession time. What can we expect from these two squads tonight?
Well, I think we'll expect a lot of exactly what you just spoke about, Quinn. Like you said, Brevard, their specialty is defense. Their coach, Juan Mascaro, he talked about, about that. They're strong defensively. One thing he likes is their improved depth over a year ago. On the other side of the coin with Coach Dahl and the SVU Knights, Coach Dahl also likes his depth. He says that's greatly improved from last year, and he says his key to this game is for the Knights, #1, to keep the ball, and #2, to move the ball quickly and keep Brevard Tornadoes chasing the ball. Let them play their defense, but he wants to be in control of what they're doing at all times.
Both teams both coaches like where their squads are at this point of the season. Lots of depth. Both coaches mentioned that in our pregame interviews with them. And of course, Southern Virginia earned home field advantage throughout the tournament with that 9-0 record in conference play, but also Brevard, very strong play as well throughout the season, and they earned that upset victory a couple nights ago on Thursday against Methodist, a juggernaut in their own right. So here we go, first kickoff of this championship final. This is Brevard in control. Knights able to get back with it. This is Macy Rackham tapping it over for McKenna Winter. He's making a run towards it, able to keep it in bounds. He's going to cross it back towards the middle, lots of open field. Claire Stevens able to get to that and disrupt that clearance attempt by Brevard. This is Ellie Owen, one of the 3 freshmen that Coach Dahl is thrust into the starting lineup, especially in this back half of the season. Again, a pretty young team, but Coach Dahl has liked the leadership that his captains and upperclassmen have displayed throughout the season.
Coach Dahl also talked about the different lineups that he's used. He really likes where his team sits at this point. He mentioned that last year seemed as though they limped into that championship game, not having the depth and had players injured and exhausted playing in that championship game. But throughout this season, we've seen him play around with lineups, different combinations, and he feels like his team is well rested and ready for this championship match.
And Southern Virginia going to have to put all of that energy on display as this is a really stingy, defensively minded Brevard squad who, again, we talked about, they've been able to score goals as of late in bunches. And we're able to get one early on Methodist in the semifinal match for them as Mabel Hare's a really nice pass from the backfield by Ellie Owen. Mabel Hare's going to make a run at it. She's being pursued by a Brevard defender, goes out of bounds, lasts off the Tornadoes, and Southern Virginia will throw in.
Really quick, Quinn, we should mention that the Brevard College, both men's and women's teams qualified for their championships games tonight. And Brevard men have just won the conference championship in penalties over North Carolina Wesleyan. So congratulations to the Brevard Tornadoes on the men's conference championship.
Header by Winterton goes just wide of the left post. And you mentioned before, Colby, Brevard able to double dip on Methodist a couple of days ago, and obviously the men were able to convert on the road at NC Wesleyan in penalties. So yes, a very big congratulations for them are in order, and the Brevard women's team will try to do the same tonight against a heavily favored Southern Virginia squad. This one's battled for in the middle of the field and cleared eventually by number 5, Haley Kinney. She's a junior from Webster, New Hampshire. Ella Thomas sends this one forward. It's up in the air, out of bounds, and possession will stay with the Knights and Ella Thomas.
And just one more comment on the Brevard men taking the conference championship, as I would imagine Coach Mascaro here, he'll want to draw upon anything he can to motivate his squad, so I bet he'll allow word to trickle to his players that the men have come through in their championship game and challenge his players to do the same here.
This is Macy Rackham getting to it, lots of speed on that front line for Southern Virginia. Mabel Harris sending it through. McKenna Winterton with it in the box. Loose, sends it towards the goal, out of bounds, and I think that will be a goal kick. Lots of contact in the box. But Brevard, good defense on one of the conference's best strikers and player of the year, McKenna Winterton.
You could see how strong she is right there, you know, that ball on the ground, and McKenna just kept moving forward and was able to create just a little bit of space as she attempted to get a shot off toward the goal.
Mason up for grabs again. So far in the early minutes of this championship match, Southern Virginia able to get back to their bread and butter, which is possession time, pinning Brevard into their own territory for the most part of these first 4 minutes. That'll be a penalty or out of bounds on the Knights, and Brevard will have a free kick for this one. Brevard 12 clean sheets on the season. So certainly a team that is able to disrupt any attack, certainly in the conference, as they took down Methodist and held them scoreless. As again, Coach Dahl preached the importance of possession. As the flag goes up there, Annalise Huber, or Ella Thomas rather, was out of bounds. A throw in for Brevard.
You know, as we talk about the defense of Brevard, it should be mentioned as well that Southern Virginia, their defense isn't too shabby themselves. As you know, as we continue here, as they continue toward the, you know, this championship match, the Southern Virginia squad has all given up 1 goal here in conference play this season. So, you know, Brevard knows that they're going to have to play a very good game tonight. You know, first of all to score, and second of all to hold this Southern Virginia offense to just a goal maybe, or try and keep a clean sheet, like you say.
So this Mattia Murray neatly able to chip it over the Brevard attacker. That was Kinney. Oh, yeah. She and Elione are in a battle. That one eventually deflects back off Kinney, out of bounds, and Claire Stevens will throw in. There's Winterton, a high kick neatly over to Macy Rackham, able to get through the fender, but then cleared out by the Brevard captain. That was number 10, Abby Warstencroft, the senior from West Union, South Carolina. It's Mayer getting to that one, settling it down and sending it back into Knights territory. Colby mentioned a very stout defensive team is Southern Virginia as well, conceding 1 goal through conference play. And, you know, that 1 goal was also in the game where the Knights were far and away gonna win that one. So in crunch time, they've really given up 0 goals, you could say. But
yeah, all season long, you know, as they've been marching toward this undefeated conference season, you know, they really have seemed to be getting stronger and stronger, you know, as the season progressed, and proved they were up to the test in their toughest matches, which, you know, really were Methodist and this Brevard squad. You know, both matches ended in, you know, 1-0 victories by the Knights.
Huntington gonna get to this one, poked away by Kinney. Brevard back on the attack, trying to make something happen, but Annalise Huber, first team all conference, disrupts that one. Kinney back with it. This one's cleared back into the middle of the field and nicely played by Haley Gadd. She sends Mabel Harris and Macy Rackham running after it. Lots of speed from Rackham. She's got Winterton cutting right down the middle. Is going to try and get it to her, but blocked by Brevard, out of bounds, and Southern Virginia will throw in. That was a nice play, I think, number 28, MK Smoke. As a Tornado gets taken down, a penalty on the play, though. I think that's against Annalise Huber. Tornado looks to be okay and up on her own power.
Yeah, right there on that little attack with that pass being pushed forward to Rackham, you can really see the speed there of both Macy and McKenna. Both of them outrunning their Brevard defenders, into space. So that'll be something to watch, and also shows, how dangerous those two are going to be up front all evening long.
And it'll be interesting, Colby, to see how Brevard combats that, as they're able to shut out a very fast team at Methodist, who have some stellar attackers in their own right. Hamilton and Rackham certainly be lethal threats up front. For Southern Virginia, good play there by number 3, Kiara Porcelli, but from Brevard, able to win that battle against Clara Stevens. So it's headed up in the air by Owen, then Kenny, and then Barbarigos, and a penalty called on Brevard as Barbarigos went down, and a free kick. Annalise Huber will take care of this one. Just under 9 minutes gone in the championship match. This is Ella Thomas in control. Certainly some physical play and urgency to the start of this one. No real scoring opportunities, though, for either team to this point, as Annalise Huber a full head of steam. Dusted off for Claire Stevens, but it's too far in front of her as Huber went down, and Brevard will throw in. It's Haley Bryan getting it back from Haley Kenny, but that'll go out of bounds, and Claire Stevens to throw in for Winterton. She's upended, a penalty called on Bryan. That will result in a free kick just past midfield for the Knights.
And even though this is just over the midfield line, this is not out of the reach for Claire Stevens to put this into the box area, maybe connecting with one of the Knight offensive players up front.
So one hopper, Winterton there, just over the keeper, deflects just right of the post. Winterton might have gotten a piece to that. Harris was also in the vicinity, but a corner for Southern Virginia. So the back line able to come in clutch for their keeper, Nicole Arroyo. But Thomas gets ready for this corner.
Looked like it was fortunate for Brevard. They had one last defender between the ball.
High up, again deflected out of bounds.
And Mattia Murray, otherwise Murray was going to get on the other end of that.
And this will be ruled another corner, so 2 consecutive corners. That allows it way high up in the air, almost going to wear the crossbar to bounds, but AC Rackham will take care of this one. This one low. Deflecting off of, I think that was MK Smoke, back towards the middle. Varvarigos deflecting it towards Winterton. Still loose and finally cleared out nicely by Haley Kenny. Harris, nice moves to get around 2 Brevard defenders. Harris has been a vital part of this attack for the Knights. Elio in open space, good tackle again. That time Haley Bryan stepping up from her defensive position to steal that one away from Ellie Owen. This is Austin Huffman. She was a goal scorer in that semifinal victory over Methodist. Certainly a dangerous attacker in her own right.
Huffman was an honorable mention as far as all conference performers go this season. So definitely a player the Knights are aware of, and they'll make sure she doesn't have too much space to work in.
It's a free kick by Smoke towards the top of the box, but rejected by Annalise Huber. Harris tries to save it from going out of bounds. She can't. Brevard will throw in. And that's another thing that Brevard's going to have to try and figure out, which, previous opponents of Southern Virginia didn't, Greensboro and Salem. That back line of the Knights is going to step up whenever they feel the opportunity and keep that pressure on the Tornadoes at any point when they try to clear. That's partly why Southern Virginia has really dominated possessions all season.
Definitely one of the reasons why Southern Virginia is so quick to get back on the offensive attack, because even if that ball goes back to midfield, Haley Gadd and Annalise Huber are both very good at sending that ball forward into space for one of those forwards to chase down.
Might have been a violation on the throw-in that time from the Tornadoes. This is Ellis Thomas to throw in. Brevard gets bodied a little bit by throws number 29, Autumn Wright. Casey Rock going to go back on the attack. She's getting cornered there by the flag. Good job by Warsencroft to force it out in a nice throw-in just next to that corner flag. Trying to get to it, pursued by two Brevard defenders. Ella Thomas will reset for her defender, Haley Gadd. Now Claire Stevens. Almost gets caught up in the feet of Murray, then puts it through the legs of Brian. Brevard attempted to clear. Nice move again by Stevens on the near side. That one's deflected out by Brian. Throw in for Stevens.
We were talking the other night, Quinn, about when the Knights defeated Greensboro. Greensboro really needed to assert themselves a little bit more on defense, and we're seeing that here by Brevard. Tonight they're being much more aggressive. They're not shying away from contact, and really trying to be the first to any free ball that they may be on the field.
Haley Gadd looking for Harris, but it deflects off of the Brevard defender out of bounds. That was Autumn Wright last touch catching it. And this will be the third corner on the evening for Southern Virginia. Couldn't manage too much on those first two tries, but Claire Stevens will come down to the bottom left of your screen to take this. High up to the far side of the box it goes. Contact, and it's out of bounds. The last touch, I think, by Winterton. Couldn't quite get square to the ball that time, and a goal kick for Nicole Arroyo. And we talked a little bit about how the semifinal match between Greensboro and Southern Virginia was really loaded with all conference team members. And much of the same tonight, as you already mentioned, a couple of honorable mentions for Brevard, but they also had a couple others on those all-conference squad, and of course Southern Virginia, a lot of members on that first team as well as second and third. As Warsencroft is going to get to this one and cleared out back towards Mabel Harris on the far side. She lets that one go to bounds and will throw in. So it's back towards the middle where Chiara Porcelli can clear. Back on the attack goes Brevard. They were looking for an outlet for number 9, Austin Huffman, who's in a battle on the far side. Going down there was Annalise Huber, who really just seems like Coach Dahl really gives her free range all around the field. You see her on the near side, far side, down deep trying to score goals for her squad. Really key component to this night's team.
It's also an example of the communication that they have there on the field. Anytime Annalise, and we've seen Haley Gadd do it as well, bring that ball up from the back line, somebody knows they've got to drop back and be in that space as well.
This one is booted back towards Knights territory by Grace Black. Katrina Gardner's going to get to this one, as I think Annalise Huber went down looking for a call. And I think they will get it. As there's some contact there between her and Austin Huffman. But you said it best, Colby. Brevard not shying away from physical contact, from aggressive defensive play. And it's, so far, it's done a good job for them, as Southern Virginia has been very limited in their opportunities in the middle of the field. This is Harris looking towards the middle nicely for Ellie Owen. She eludes one defender. That was Haley Kinney. And Barbarigo is over on the far side for Ella Thomas. They'll play catch and eventually deflected out of bounds by Autumn Wright of Brevard. In his 8th year as head coach of this Brevard squad. They've qualified for the USA South tournament the past 5 years. Didn't get their first victory until this year's tournament, but certainly have been knocking on the door of that and have finally broken through this year and qualifying for the championship match. This is Claire Stevens on the near side for Southern Virginia. Looking towards the middle for McKenna Winterton. Bounces over a defender, Brevard. Macy Rackham back on the attack. She'll look towards the middle. Harris just can't reach it. Through the box it goes. So good idea by Rackham, but it looked like Harris overran the ball a bit as she was headed towards the goal line.
I think McKenna's kicking herself a little bit too. She just took a different angle. Of course, she didn't know exactly where that ball was going to go through. She had Mabel in front of her, but she maybe kicking herself a little bit that she could have taken a deeper angle and perhaps gotten a shot off after it got past Mabel. But nonetheless, good possession there, good attack. Macy Rackham, as Coach Dahl spoke about before the game, showing composure there and sending a ball through the middle there that was really teed up for any Knight offensive player that could have gotten there.
Yeah, there's a lot of open turf behind Mabel. So if there's a net that got to that, it would have been surely would have been an easy boot into the back of the nets. This one's headed up by Mattia Murray looking for a call. She won't get one now. Hilly Bryan getting to it for Brevard. So it deflects off the head of Varvarigos. Knight's back on it. Winterton able to use that strength of hers to box out the defender and set up a throw in here on the near side. She'll get it back. Good defense, though, applied by Chiara Porcelli. Knight will reset in the middle just on top of the logo. Now Annalise Huber with it. Harris attempts to box out Autumn Wright, but Brevard's going to be able to clear. As Huffman in pursuit, but Huber will get there in time, and Katrina Gardner back with it. Lots of clean sheets to her name as well. She didn't have too much work in the first 2 rounds for the Knights, as again they dominated possession and didn't allow the other team much offensively. This is Macy Rackham making her second run in a couple of minutes. Lots of free space, fires towards the goal, off the crossbar it goes. Harris now with it. Brevard just wanting to clear it out. As what a strike by Macy Rackham over the keeper's hands, then off the crossbar. Ball still in play as Claire Stevens gets to it.
That would have been a very big time goal had that found its way past the line there. Macy about 20 yards out here from the near hash and drilled it to the far corner. That ball was bending and dipping and just didn't dip enough to make it under the crossbar.
And it was maybe a little bit of a surprise shot, or maybe a keeper Arroyo thought was a little surprised by it, because Macy Rackham a defender was all over her, and she's able to get it through traffic and chip that over the keeper off the crossbar. But here's another good opportunity. Mabel Harris setting for a free kick 15 yards out. She'll strike it, bouncing loose on the box on the turf, and grabbed by Arroyo as McKenna Winterton had drawn that free kick.
You know, perhaps Arroyo was a little surprised by that kick from Rackham, but I think from the second Rackham stopped that ball and made that cut, you could see she was going to get a shot off on goal. She wanted to take her own shot that time, and she put that right on goal with a very good kick.
And just well placed too, because it seemed like Arroyo was a little bit far out of her cage than she wanted to be, as Harris is going to get this. Lots of open turn from her, back to the middle, looking for Rackham. Good defensive play by Brevard again as they go back in the attack on the counter.
Now, we had a great angle on that strike by Rackham, and honestly, I thought it was in. I thought it was going in.
Like it.
And just did catch enough of the crossbar to push it forward and away from the goal. You mentioned a couple minutes ago, Quinn, about Coach Mascaro being in his 8th year, knocking on the door. Coach Dahl was very complimentary of Coach Mascaro in the pregame, talking about how he is very good at game preparation, and very good at figuring out what teams are going to do. And so he wasn't surprised at all by their appearance here tonight. Very respectful of Brevard as an opponent, knowing that even though the Knights may be favored, it's not going to be easy out there.
They certainly gave the Knights a handful last season in that quarterfinal round where much of the Knights took it in penalties, a lot thanks to their keeper of the year last season, Alyssa Truman. Last touch by the Knights there. This will be a throw-in for Brevard as we close in on the 25-minute mark into the first half of play. It'll be interesting to see. Again, Coach Dahl has talked all season about the amount of depth that this Knights squad has. Assuming he goes back to his bench midway through the first half, we'll see what happens in the next few minutes. This will be another free kick for Brevard. They're going to send everyone deep into Knights territories. This one's skied towards the top of the box. Good job by Varvaricos to box out and get ahead to that one. Winterton, a nice steal. She moves things ahead for Rackham, then Harris. Cut back to the middle, looking for Mattia Murray. Deflects off her, but a good steal by Haley Bryan again. She's been all over the place defensively so far for the Tornadoes. This is Grace Black. Cutting back towards the middle on Mabel Harris. Rodriguez able to get that one to Mattia Murray. She's looking for Winterton right on top of the Knights logo. Seeing ahead, looking for Rackham. In pursuit is Rackham on Arroyo, and Arroyo had to wait for that to get inside the box before she could grab it. Had second thoughts, but Rackham was full steam ahead and almost made a good play on the ball.
We talked about that several times this year, how McKenna Winterton, she's player of the year, not just because she can score goals, but the way she is willing and looks to involve the rest of her teammates in the action. And that was just another good example of that. At first it didn't look like there was going to be anything to come of that whatsoever, but with Rackham's speed, she was able to put pressure on Brevard.
This is Murray upended, looking for Winterton. Another free kick there for Southern Virginia, just about 15, 20 yards outside the cage of Brevard. Referee drawing the ire a little bit from the Brevard crowd. A good showing by the Brevard fans here at Knight Stadium, a stadium that seems like it's pretty well close to full capacity here to the right of us. This is Mabel Harris getting set again. Sends this one right into the arms of Arroyo again, so a similarly placed shot as the last free kick, and Arroyo did a better job this time of handling that shot from Harris. Good battle by Austin Huffman to keep control of it. Kenny's gonna send her teammate. Good job by Mayer to keep it in bounds. She's still with it. Put moves on Haley Gadd. Back towards the middle it goes, deflected. And now on the far side for Mabel Harris to try and get things back in control for Southern Virginia. Trouble with it. Good play again by Austin Huffman. She's shown a lot of heart and hustle in this first half. But Ella Thomas able to get back to it. This hops on Autumn Wright, peppered by Macy Rackham. Rackham's going to get to it. Upended again by Warsencroft, and the ref will call a penalty on that one, right at midfield. So, you could say Colby being called a little bit tight so far. There was lots of contact, so definitely worth a penalty.
No, you watch these matches, and the primary job of the official is to make sure things don't get out of hand. Manage the action, manage the physicality of the match, and I think something like that, it's fairly obvious there was contact there, and out there in the open field, I think he felt better to make that call and keep things in check rather than let them get out of hand, especially when we're still here in the the first half.
Giselle Thomas down control, lots of green turf in front of her. She's going to deke around one defender and try and take it herself. Then Winterton chipping that head for Macy Rackham on the rush. Gets caught up in her feet, and that allows Brevard a chance to clear with Grace Black. Right along the sideline, it will stay in bounds for Annalise Huber. Right in front of her own bench, she'll send it just 10 yards ahead for Ella Thomas. This one's deflected out of bounds, or it will be out of bounds in favor of the Knights. They'll throw in with Mabel Harris. She's gonna look to go along the sideline. Lots of speed again for Rackham. She showed that off a few times here in the first half. Wollstonecraft is gonna clear that one out of bounds. And the Knights will have another opportunity to throw in. Or it will be the free kick, rather, as Rackham did go down. There's contact from Wollstonecraft on that clearance. Ella Thomas getting set a 3-player wall for the Tornadoes. Thomas up high into the middle of the box it goes. Stevens tries to gather now. Rackham a whack at it. Stevens gets to it and takes a nice angle back towards the middle, cleared by Wollstonecraft. Good turn by Huber to avoid Austin Huffman. And the Knights back on the attack. Stevens, Winterton calling for it, traps it, looking for some space in the box. The Brevard defender goes down, Winterton still with it. She goes down, battle for the ball. Right on the near side, Mattia Murray back towards the middle. Harris almost got ahead to it. Lots of contact between Winterton and a couple of defenders. Ref said play on, and Harris almost got a clear header right behind the keeper, Nicole Arroyo. Arroyo, as our first batch of substitutions come in for the Knights and Brevard.
Looks like 5 substitutes coming in for the Knights.
Natalie Blazer coming in. She's seen a lot of action in this tournament and started the quarterfinal against Salem.
Tessa Miller also into the game. Jane Peterson out there, I see.
So still lots of speed and skill on the field for Southern Virginia, as Coach Dahl again does not hesitate to go deep into that bench and use his depth.
Also Morgan Romney coming into the game as well.
Chloe Brown able to reject that one. That's number 17, Tay Brown, just subbed in for the Tornadoes. She scored in their semifinal against Methodist. Scored in the 2nd minute of the 2nd half to seemingly put that game in control of Brevard. This one's cleared out of bounds by Brevard.
It looks like the final substitute that Coach Dahl put on the field, Audrey McKeon, the freshman, playing there up front with Natalie and McKenna.
You talked a lot last game, Chloe, about McKeon's ability to distribute the ball, leading the team in assists. And that was certainly on display in that semifinal matchup against Greensboro. She set up McKenna Winterton a couple of times for some nice opportunities, including 1 goal. There's Annalise Huber. A bit too soft, trying to get it to Ella Thomas.
So Coach Dahl waiting maybe a little bit longer than he has, in past games to make the initial substitution, but he does so with 5 substitutes, which ensures the Knights will be fresh out there, and like we've said time and again, really not losing anything as far as skill goes out on the field.
Brown able to box out Claire Stevens, but a nice play by Haley Gadd to get to it first. Now Morgan Romney, she'll elude the defender. That was number 19, Michaela Hizvikin, sub it in for Brevard. Audrey McKeon back on the attack, a nice through ball, looking for Natalie Blazer. Lots of speed on the far side, broken up nicely by Brevard. They'll battle for it, out of bounds. The Knights will throw in quickly with Audrey McKeon. McKeon now gets some space, tries to cut back towards the middle of the field. But good aggressive defense by Brevard, not allowing any Knights to get those crosses through back towards to the middle of the field. McKeon takes a shot towards the goal, easily handled by Arroyo. Might have been going a little bit wide anyways, but she will kick things back off to boot this one back towards midfield. Penalty called against the Knights, much to the delight of the Brevard fans in attendance. As Brevard is still trying to gather themselves and get their first attack going offensively. This one goes deep into the Knights zone. Claire Stevens is there to clear it out of harm's way. MK Smoke's going to head that one back into the Knights side of the field. Whistle down, and Brevard will have a free kick.
Yeah, I think that ball just jumped up and got Jane Peterson on the hand, so referee calls a little handball there. So again, and right now here you have Brevard here in their offensive end here for a little bit of a prolonged time, probably longer than we've seen either team that SVU has played thus far in the tournament.
Haley Gadd again just boots this back towards Warzencroft. Brevard's going to get to it again. But then it's past their attacker, and this is Tessa Miller, just subbed in recently for the Knights. Looking for Winterton too far in front of her. That's going to deflect off of Hubert. Back in the attack go Brevard. This is Emma Murray finding Tay Brown on the near side. Eventually Ellie Owen just opts to clear it out of harm's way, and Brevard will throw in. So again, sustained pressure in Knights territory the first time tonight, as Colby mentioned. And we'll see if Brevard's able to convert on anything here. Was Abby Mayer trying to receive that one, but it rolls off her foot out of bounds. Knights will throw in again with Claire Stevens. Winterton hounding the ball on Haley Bryant. She cuts back towards the middle, lots of speed. She's got Ella Thomas on the far side, opts to go back to the middle. Warzencroft intercepts. This is Katrina Gardner back in control. Leaves it for Haley Gadd, her defender. And Winterton, a chip pass for Claire Stevens on the near side. Back towards the middle we go. Winterton is up into the foul call on Austin Huffman and Brevard. Claire Stevens will take this free kick.
She definitely has the strength to get that into the area. She put it in there once earlier this match from maybe a little bit closer, but definitely not out of her range.
Bunch of Knights hounding the left side of the box. Now they break back towards the middle. Good placement by Stevens. Up for grabs in the middle. Natalie Blazer getting to it. Now Winterton, but it is called down. A penalty on the Knights, as I think Warzencroft going down. The Tornadoes captain, she looks to get up, a little bit of a limp, but hopefully she's okay and well enough to continue on. Tornadoes really able to crowd that box and didn't allow any attackers of Southern Virginia any space to strike the ball. And that's what they do best, which is why they posted 12 clean sheets throughout the season. This is Austin Huffman in a battle with Jane Peterson before MK Smoke clears it back into Knights territory. So Morgan Romney going down. Ref says play on until Ella Thomas boots it back towards Natalie Blazer. Lots of speed and energy from her. Just came in about 5 minutes ago. Nice job by Warzencroft to cut off the angle. Ref says no, there will be a penalty called on Natalie Blazer, as Warzencroft went down in her defensive end. Blazer didn't like the call, but Arroyo will kick this one back off. So we are deadlocked at 0, just over 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half of the USA South Women's Soccer Championship match. Number 1 seed hosting number 3 Brevard College out of Western North Carolina. Romney turns and gets to this one. Deflects back off McKeon. She wins the race to it. Trying to find a way around Autumn Wright. Good defense by Wright as she deflects it back off onto McKeon. And again, just no room on that far side for the Southern Virginia attackers to cross it back towards the middle of the field. Wright getting it to again, but it's in the feet of Ella Thomas. This is again Natalie Blazer with it back towards the middle of the field. She'll switch sides to Claire Stevens. This one cross looking for Winterton. Tessa Miller almost got to it, but it bounced awkwardly off her foot. She's still with it, strikes towards the goal. Winterton! Good save by Royal, headed back towards the goal, out of bounds. And that will be a goal kick for Royal. She might have taken that drive from Winterton off the head. She gets back up under her own power. Let's hope she's okay.
Yeah, she was rushing. She saw that McKenna was going to be able to get a shot off, and McKenna hit that ball dead on. And unfortunately for Arroyo, I'm sure she's glad that she was in the way, but unfortunately for her, that's shaking her up a little bit. But looks like she's going to be okay. She waves the training staff away, tells them just to stay over there and give her a minute.
Talk about sacrificing the body, though.
I'd say it's a championship game. You know, these players, you know, both squads have worked hard and put in a lot of hours to make it here today. And, you know, they're not going to let a little bit of pain, you know, stand in their way of making it to a championship.
Brevard on the clearance. It's back towards Stevens now. Tessa Miller tries to turn with it. A good steal by Bryan. She's going to try and outlet her teammate Abby Mayer. But the Knights defense again stout on the back line. Get to it first. Huber, nice move around Tay Brown. She's got a full head of steam, tries to go past the defender, but a good aggressive play by Bryan to force out of bounds, and they will throw in. It's Austin Huffman going now, and the ref says play on. Last touch by Brevard, and Claire Stevens signals for a ball to throw in. Nice trap there by Blazer. And that's going to be a penalty, I think, called on Miller. She gave a little bit of a side check to number 3, Kiara Porcelli, the sophomore out of Merrimack, New Hampshire. We talked a little bit before the game, Colby, as we obviously saw the men's championship match between Brevard and NC Wesleyan went to penalties. If you're Southern Virginia, obviously you've been able to dominate possession again for most of this first half. That's not a situation you want to get into, because obviously we know penalties can go either way. It doesn't matter how talented you are on whatever side of the ball. It's anybody's game if it gets to penalties.
No, with the number of goals that Southern Virginia's put up this year and the offensive prowess that they've really shown, you just don't really want it to go to penalties, because that, you know, that neutralizes everything that you do, and it just puts, you know, one take of the penalty versus the goalie from both sides. So yeah, I think that's not a situation that Coach Stahl wants to find themselves in. You know, I'm sure, you know, with the amount of pressure that they're putting and the different lineups that he's worked with all year long, you know, he's going to do everything he can to try and find a goal, you know, in the first, you know, in the 110 minutes that would go before we go to penalties.
And Southern Virginia did get the edge in penalties last year in the conference quarterfinal against Brevard. You know that Tornadoes were chomping at the bit to spoil the party tonight for Southern Virginia if it got to that point. But of course, Brevard as well going to do their best to end this thing in regular time. So it's headed back towards Audrey McKeon. She puts it towards the middle for Jane Peterson, but Brevard intercepts. Good play by Huber to step up from her defensive position. A little bit of a back and forth of possessions here between the two squads. Just 3 minutes remaining in the first half of play. Abby Mayer getting to it with Brevard. They're going to lead Austin Huffman. Good step up by Huber. And Morgan Romney smartly clears it out of bounds. And if you're either team, you do not want to give up a late goal in this half. That certainly can be deflating for who that might go in the wrong way for.
I think right now both coaches are probably happy with the play that they've seen in their respective team. Brevard, Coach Mascaro talked about, we just have to work hard. We have to keep working hard. They've done that. They've been very tough all half long, not afraid of a little bit of contact, if it means that's what it takes to come away with the ball, or even a little contact to stop the play. And Southern Virginia, they have continued their relentless attack and had opportunities, but Brevard's been able to turn them away each time.
Pearson dragged a little bit. There is a penalty called on Haley Bryan Brevard. Bryan, the junior defender from Brevard, North Carolina. Here, Stevens gets set to kick this one back off. Sends one deep in Brevard territory. Good play by Porcelli to get to that first. Thomas clearing it back towards the box. McKeon tries to handle it up for grabs. She gets to it into the box. She's off the crossbar again. Another good save by Rowe, but it was a handball, I think, on Tessa Miller beforehand. And McKeon got loose in the box, and another crossbar for the Knights.
That is a number of crossbars hit for the Knights in the last two matches. We saw that 2 or 3 times Thursday night against Greensboro, and now that's 2 in this first half, for the Knights. So again, like I was saying, they continue their pursuit, very relentless on the offensive end. Just thus far, good defense and maybe a little bit of bad luck has kept them out of the goal.
Let's boot it back. Tay Brown going after it. Harrigat's got to be careful. Body off Tay Brown, but Tay Brown gets it back, sends it back towards the middle, deflected away by Huber. Still with it is Brown. Knight's able to clear it out of harm's way, not until Porcelli gets to it. Good pressure by Brevard after that crossbar from McKeon. But Ella Thomas calmly deflects that one back out of bounds as Brevard tries to make one final rush before half. Cleared into the middle it goes, but that will conclude the first half of play. Some exciting action here in the USA South Championship Final for women's soccer. 2 crossbars highlighted the first half from Southern Virginia's offense. A very stout defensive play by the keeper Arroyo of Brevard. And the rest of their squad has us deadlocked at 0 heading into halftime. So Colby, what do you take from that first half leading into the second? Obviously, you mentioned earlier both coaches can be happy with what they saw. But what can we expect maybe going into the second half with some adjustments?
Well, I think you said it yourself, Quinn. It's been an exciting half of soccer. This is a fun game to watch. Both, whether you're a fan of Brevard or a fan of Southern Virginia, I think this has pleased both sides to this point. Like we said, the game plans for both coaches, I feel, were met in that first half. So I think they'll both just ask their teams to do more of the same here in the second half. And, they'll be happy with the result either way.
And with that, we will head to break, but be sure to join us again in just under 15 minutes for the second half of action here in the USA South tournament.
Open that Wednesday in November or March. I'll take the first 4 people down here. We have 4 people whose birthdays on the month of November. All right. Today's contest is simple. You'll each take 2 attempts to get the soccer ball from the 20-yard line, and you have the 2 of you. 2 of you, maybe 4. You got it. You're the first one in. Go up the side. Yeah, Jim. It's okay. You took 2 bits of this thing. You each have 2 attempts to get the ball from the 20, and the 2 of you who get the soccer ball closest to the center of the night net will win. Pretty much power. Also a little deep. Too much power. That's the best one yet. All right, we have the winner here, and these are second places. They're tied. They're going to pick again. Yeah, what's up, man? All our 2 wings come to the center. We're playing a bonus game. in our bonus game. You need to get 2 sides to put it in the goal from the 50. Our winner will get whatever they want from the future. 1 item. But you have to make it. If neither of you make it, you need to get it. 100% in, 100% out. Wide left. Wide right. Does it have the power to make it? It's cool. It's left. Let's do a big hand to Brevard contestants. At this time, we'd like to remind you, no pick in the blue tree. And 3 out front. Starting the second half, 4-0.
Welcome back to all of our fans tuning in to this edition of Knights Broadcasting for the second half of the USA South Women's Soccer Championship match. We are knotted at 0-0. Of course, a very exciting first half, though, as we saw some good aggressive defense by Brevard. They weren't able to get on the attack much, but certainly do have some confidence and momentum still swinging in their direction, as they've been able to shut off the attackers of Southern Virginia pretty nicely. But there were a couple of opportunities for the Knights in that half, and 2 crossbars included, just inches off of making it a 1-0 lead for the Knights. Quick throw in from Mattia Murray, as Knights get lots of their starters back in to start the second half. That was eventually kicked out of bounds by Brevard, and the first corner of the half will go to Southern Virginia. Thomas to take it, goes back towards the box, up for grabs. Now Winterton getting to it. She's going to gather, but encountered by 3 Tornado defenders. Still gets it back into the middle. Strike by Elliott. She scores! Ellie Owen, left side of the net. Knights lead it 1-0.
You know, Coach Dahl, he said it before the game, composure. Another one of his freshmen, you know, from his senior, McKenna Winterton. You know, ball there that got through the area on the corner kick, but McKenna did not give up. Chased after it, made a nice pass back through the box. No Brevard defender stepped up, and Ellie Owen, she stepped into it and did not miss.
Yeah, gutsy play by Winterton to, rather than just clearing it towards the goal on a soft play, putting it back towards the middle. And Winterton, she drew about 3 defenders towards her. And Ellie Owen, a big-time moment for the freshman from South Jordan, Utah, out of Herman High School. As Katrina Gardner boots this one back into Brevard territory, out of bounds though, and they will throw in. Winterton deflects it back towards bottom right, or MK Smoke rather. Good turn by Owen, the goal scorer. To Murray, a through ball looking for Macy Rackham. She's encountered by Smoke. A good defensive play by her to force it back out of bounds, as the Knights will throw in. And Owen on that shot just had enough of a lane, perfectly placed into the left side of the net. And early on, the Knights lead it 1-0, just like in their regular season matchup between these two squads. The Knights scored in the second half in the 62nd minute to take the lead in that one. Winterton tries to get to it, but Kinney from Brevard is able to clear that out of bounds just past number 19, Michaela Zvikin.
And we had a very exciting first half, Quinn. And I think nothing like an early second half goal to ensure that we'll have a very exciting second half now as well. As Brevard, they're going to have to shift their game plan a little bit at least to try and chase that equalizer here if they want to at least push the game into overtime first, with the hope of maybe getting to penalties. So it'll be an exciting match. You know, we saw 21 fouls total in the first half, 11 by Southern Virginia, or rather Brevard, 10 by Southern Virginia. So those are very even, and you look for the physical play to continue here in the second half.
Owen's going to deflect back off Rackham, and Brevard will take possession of this one. And as much as we've talked about the good defensive play by Brevard all year long, they also can score as they beat Methodist 2-0. A pretty convincing win to them. And their defense was stout, but also they took that to Methodist offensively. Nice little move by Winterton to keep possession of the ball, but she gives it back up to Warsencroft. Clear it to the far side, out of bounds. Ella Thompson can throw in for the Knights. Zvikin tries to make a run on the ball, but she overplays it. Good job by Austin Huffman to retake possession, but a little bit too far in front of her teammates. And there is a foul called on Varvarigo, so she applied pressure to Austin Huffman. Brevard will take a free kick out of that.
Come on, Blue, keep fighting. Let's go, Brevard!
Certainly for Brevard, more urgency is needed on the offensive side of things to get this tied back up just 4 minutes into the second half of play. Both teams trying to clinch their first ever conference title. As Winterton takes the body to a Brevard attacker. This one's cleared back up in the air into the Knights territory by Haley Bryan. Brevard pokes at it, but Katrina Gardner smartly lets that one roll out of bounds, and Knights retake possession.
Bryan there was the victim of a little bit of friendly fire there on a ball. Her teammate headed it and went right into Bryan's face. You know, she takes a minute to compose herself. The trainer's going to come out. You never know, there might be, you know, a bloody nose as a result of that. You know, she continued to play.
It's going to force Brevard to make a substitution. Michaela will come out.
Go, Taylor!
Looks like that's Taylor Richardson coming in for Brevard to take her spot. Then rolls last off the Knights. Brevard still with it in Knights territory. One is locked it high up towards the box for Richardson. Annalise Huber clearing out of harm's way back to Warsencroft at midfield. She's pursued by Rackham. Eventually Warsencroft goes down. The ref says play on. Autumn Wright now back in control for Brevard.
A lot of toughness there by the freshman Rackham. Showing Worstenheim she's not going to go easily. Eventually she's able to wrestle that ball away from her.
Abel Harris and Thomas playing a bit of keep away from Richardson and Huffman. This one switches field for Mattia Murray, who zips that one back for Ellie Owen, the goal scorer. Murray will looking to lead a teammate, but no one in the vicinity, and Brevard clears. Barbarigos gets this one, but she slips on the ball. I'm not sure if she was called for a foul or playing on the ground, but Brevard will take control and have a free kick out of this. In case Smoke hammers this one towards the top of the box. Rejected by a Knight defender now, Tay Brown after it. She has some speed and strength. That was on display in the first half. She made a couple of good runs, but nicely played that time by Claire Stevens. Claire Stevens, another one of those high quality freshmen that has played very important minutes. A regular starter for Coach Rob Dahl. Gilbert, Arizona, out of Highland High School. Like Warsencroft got upended there and maybe a little bit shaken up. Hope she's okay, but play on, the ref says, as Often Huffman is now with it. Good move to get around Ella Thomas until Haley Gadd can clear it out back towards midfield. Again, some good defensive pressure by the back line of Southern Virginia, really not allowing the attackers of Brevard any space to get towards the keeper, Katrina Gardner.
Yeah, every time they get deeper into SVU's defensive end, you know, the defenders for SVU were able to push them toward the corners, not really allow them to penetrate through the middle of the field. So it's been proven very difficult for Brevard to create anything dangerous in the middle of the field thus far.
Brevard still looking for their first shot in the contest while Southern Virginia with 12 on the night. Of course, one of those found the back of the net with Ellie Owen. Ella Thomas now to throw in. Substitution there for the Knights. That's Audrey McKean coming back in place of Mattia Murray. Nice little back heel by Barbarigos to free up Winterton. She runs through defender. Play on, says the ref. Ellie Owen, a nice couple of moves. Good play by Rackham. She's going to get it back. Harris in pursuit before I think a penalty was called on the Knights, and Brevard will retake possession. Again, a full house here at Knights Stadium. A good showing by the Knights fans as well as supporters of the Tornadoes. Good 4-hour drive for those folks. Glad that they could join us here at Knights Stadium. It's Taylor Richardson. Didn't think she got a foot to it, but the ref says otherwise, and Ella Thomas will throw in as Paige Barbarigos is going to go out in a substitution. I think that is Might be Madison Solis coming in for the Knights.
Real quick, maybe a second half shout out to the men's soccer team from Brevard, as we mentioned earlier. Coming up, the champions of the USA South, defeating NC Wesleyan in a penalty kick shootout. So their fans maybe split a little bit between here in Buena Vista and Rocky Mount, North Carolina, but they traveled well and welcomed them here to Buena Vista and to our broadcast.
Abby Mayer of Brevard looking for a through ball to Tay Brown, but it's disrupted by the nice defenders now. Macy Rackham, the freshman, back on the attack. She's encountered by two Brevard defenders now. Winterton, middle of the field. Good play by MK Smoke to reject that one. She's gonna poke that one out of bounds. And I think it is a throw-in for Brevard, rather. A good play by Smoke to deflect that off the Knight defender. And as we get this throw-in by Brevard, the Knights Athletic Department, we want to thank the following sponsors for their continued support of Knights Athletics. Those sponsors being Cornerstone Bank, Mill Creek Orthodontics, River Crossing Apartments, Straws Drinks and Eats, and they will be having trivia night next Friday at 7 p.m., so be sure to join them for that as Annalise Huber steps up from her defensive position. A good play by her. Also, Grace Automotive, where SVU students and staff can receive 10% off their vehicle maintenance needs. Also, Papa John's Pizza, locally owned and operated. Vinyl Cut, The Beeve, and their sweet souvenirs, and then Katana Sushi and Hibachi Express here in Buena Vista. And if you would like to partner with Knights Athletics to promote your business to the Knight Nation, please contact Brett Schroeder at 801-633-1894. That's 801-633-1894. That's kicked off by Nicole Arroyo back in the Knights territory. This is Abby Mayer getting to it, trying to find a way around Haley Gadd. She can, to a Knights clear. Smoke again booting it back in Knights territory. They just want some sort of offensive possession time. Not a bad idea until Winterton gets to it. Rackham again, Winterton. A little give and go there, looking for Rackham. A little bit behind her though. She still has it. Back towards the middle, but a good defensive play. Warzencroft and Huffman combining. Sending it towards the goal. Solis over top of the crossbar. And Brevard will have a goal kick. Looks like we're going to have Bailey Ricker entering the contest in place of Captain Mabel Harris.
Nice touch there by Madison Solis to take that little attempt on goal. I think the goalkeeper had come off her line a little bit, and Madison made that attempt from about 25 yards out, and it was on goal, just a little bit too high.
Go, Tay! Fight, Tay! Let's go, Tay!
Clearance goes towards Tay Brown, looking for some speed on the far side. She's encountered by Claire Stevens. Remember, Tay Brown, a goal scorer in their semifinal against Methodist, but well played by Claire Stevens. Morgan Romney coming in for Ellie Owen. Also substitutions made by Brevard. I think that's Haley Kinney coming back in for the Tornadoes, as well as Porcelli. This is McKeon, lots of speed down the middle of the field. Tangled up in her feet though. Romney gets to it and switches field. Good intercept by Autumn Wright. Taylor Richardson finds it on the near side. Upended is Austin Huffman. Ref says play on. A penalty was called on, I think, Bailey Ricker.
Come on, MK, let's get something here.
Ricker, a goal scorer against Salem in tonight's quarterfinal victory. Smoke is going to send this one low towards the top of the box. Thomas of the Knights gets to it and rejects that one back towards Smoke, who will throw in. Abby Mayer getting upended by Annalise Huber, and that'll result in a free kick for the Tornadoes. So little by little, Brevard inching a little bit closer to that net of Katrina Gardner. I think Nicola Arroyo is going to come all the way down from her net to send this cross towards the box. Remember, she's got some good offensive skills as well. She's scored 2 goals actually when not in the net for Brevard. Up high it goes. She's got a player streaking towards the middle. Back towards Richardson. She's got it. Deflection in the middle of the box, and it found Taylor Richardson on the near side. We are tied at 1. So the move to bring up Nicola Arroyo from her goalkeeping position pays off. She sends a beautiful ball into the box, and it finds the magic cleats of Taylor Richardson. It is 1-1 as Morgan Romney gets us started again here. Colby, what did you see on that free kick to allow Taylor Richardson to get loose on the near side?
It was kind of hard to see, but it was definitely a very good kick by Arroyo. She bent that toward the far corner of the net, and I think it was a teammate of hers that got ahead on that initially to send that across goal, and SVU was unable to corral that ball and get it out of the area, and Taylor Richardson was able to find it with her foot and chip it up and over the head of Katrina Gardner.
And one shot is all it takes. One shot, one goal for the Brevard College Tornadoes. We are deadlocked at 1 under half an hour to play in this championship match. If we are tied at the end of 90 minutes, we will have 2 10-minute overtime periods. And if we are deadlocked after those overtime periods, there will be a penalty shootout, just as the men's championship game went to. Brevard, of course, taking that one against SC Wesleyan. They're trying to make it 2 for 2 in soccer USA South Championships tonight. High up in the air, looking for Ricker. Good rejection by Brevard. Autumn right on it. She fans on it a little bit. Morgan Romney able to get to it and send it ahead for Bailey Ricker. Wozencroft falls down. Looks like she's injured on the play. They play on. As the ball comes to Taylor Richardson, and now the ref blows the play dead. As it looked like not sure if contact was made between Wozencroft and Bailey Ricker. But Wozencroft did go down awkwardly. We hope she's okay.
Yeah, the best I could tell, it didn't appear that there was really contact. It looked like Wozencroft had the ball and Ricker had given her a little bit of space, and then Wozencroft went down and Ricker was able to come away with the ball. So hopefully she's okay. You always hate to see those non-contact injuries happen, just because if there wasn't a reason to go down, you sometimes you worry that it's worse than you'd like it to be. But the trainers have come out here, so we have a little break in the action here as they attend to Wozencroft.
So athletic trainer working on her, as also head coach Juan Mascaro comes out to take a look and make sure her captain is okay. Wozencroft has been a really solid player throughout her tenure at Brevard College, and certainly has been a key leader for him. She does get back to her feet with help from the trainer. And she's going to make her way back to the bench slowly. But she's also been all over the field tonight, making good defensive plays, one after the other. There's another Brevard player down as well, but I think might be just cramping and she's getting stretched out for her teammate, so she looks to be okay. That was Taylor Richardson. But as Colby said, those certainly the type of injuries you hate to see, especially at this point in the season, so close to the end, and lots of momentum on the side of Brevard as they just scored to tie it up to make it 1 goal apiece. And of course, Brevard's going to have to make some sort of substitution here. And their teammates will gather together and try and shake off this potentially game-ending injury. It seems like it would be for Abby Warsencroft, the senior defender from West Union, South Carolina. So Colby, we saw an exciting first half, but this second half has pretty much exceeded expectations if you're a hardcore soccer fan. Goals by each team.
A little bit unique by Brevard where you have the goalie come up. You don't often see that, especially this early in a game where the goalie leaves goal to come up, but obviously Coach Mascaro has a lot of confidence in Arroyo and her ability to put that ball in a place that's going to be beneficial for his squad.
Yeah, it's interesting because, Brevard's kind of gone through a 2-keeper rotation at times during the season. And when one keeper is playing, the other's not, that keeper who is not in the cage for the Brevard, they've spent time on the offensive end as well as a forward. And both, against Abby Nunes, the other keeper, and Nicole Arroyo, have scored goals this season for Brevard. So certainly a bit of a Swiss Army knife in Brevard's roster in back. Is Nicole Arroyo. Is off the injury timeout. Knights get to it. This one's out of bounds. Last off, Ricker. Brevard the throw in with Autumn Wright. Morgan Romney tries to get to it. She's peppered by Taylor Richardson, the goal scorer for Brevard. But a good series of passes by the Knights to get loose. Madison Souls for Haley Gadd on the back end. Looking for Audrey McKeon. Brevard's attempted clear goes off of McKeon out of bounds, and they will throw in. So not only did Brevard clinch their first tournament victory in program history, they're looking for their first championship victory now. Got some momentum on their side after the Richardson goal. A good answer after Ellie Owen striked early in the second half. This is Tessa Miller coming in for Macy Rackham of Southern Virginia. As Lookett set to throw it back in. Dahl calling out directions for his squad. This is Tay Brown getting it to it for Brevard. She's going to clear back towards midfield. Emily Huber the header. Looked like that might have bounced off a hand. Ref says play on. Huber tries to get to it. She's disrupted by Richardson and then Abby Mayer. Knights still in control though. Bottom of your screen. Up high it goes. Tessa Miller going after it. She does get a piece. Laid off for McKeon. Now looking for Winterton. Something brewing here maybe for the Knights offense. Nice little give and go. That's Ricker and Winterton. Winterton proven to be a playmaker as well, not just a goal scorer. She set up that beautiful strike by Ellie Owen. Like Mattia Murray might be coming back in for Audrey McKeon. Winterton peppered by about 3 Tornado defenders, cleared out by Brevard. But not before Morgan Romney can get to it, about 40 yards outside the cage. That one last off Thomas, and Brevard will throw in. shoulder. Knights trying to establish their offensive attack again. He's tripped up as the Brevard defender, like an inverted contact, but there will be a call made. That was Tessa Miller who made contact with the Brevard defender, and they will have a free kick in their own end.
Just under 25 minutes left here, Quinn. We'll probably see a lot of that physical action here the remainder of the game, you know, as both teams are going to do their best to secure any 50-50 ball and try and get something going in their direction.
This one's high up in the air. Autumn Wright gets ahead to it. One hopper for Ella Thomas, and Knights will clear back into Brevard territory, getting to it. For the Tornadoes. Now Bailey Ricker again trying to make a rush. A good second half of the season for her. One hopper towards the box, cleared out by the Tornadoes. This is Often Huffman now getting to it. And talk about depth. Both coaches, obviously, we mentioned earlier, have been pleased with their depth. There's Abby Mayer, a good steal after a tough pass made by Claire Stevens. Almost a jailbreak for the Tornadoes in their favor. But as I was saying, you know, that goal and the assist by Brevard came from substitutes. So Coach Mascaro mentioned he likes the depth on his team this year, and it's paying off so far tonight in the championship match. Owen, the goal scorer, comes back in for Southern Virginia, as well as Captain Mabel Harris. The coach all giving his top attackers a little bit of a rest period there in the second half. And they'll try to get things going again for this Knights offense. Tessa Miller now in pursuit, bounces back off her. This ball stays in bounds. And last off Brevard, Knights get their first corner in quite a while. I think it might be their first corner since the goal scored by Ellie Owen.
Yeah, that'll be their sixth of the night so far. Brevard has been unable to earn any corner kicks. The Knights will put a play on here.
Stevens in the box, high up, far side, contact. Miller gets to it, good grab by Nicole Arroyo. She crosses out to the top of her box. It's going to boot this one back towards midfield, presumably. She does, high up there. Get Romney going after it. Austin Huffman, I think, went down for Brevard. Now Autumn Wright will attempt to clear. She does. Cleared back into the Brevard territory by Ella Thomas. Winterton tries to get to it. Romney gets circled by about 3 Brevard defenders. Good defense by the Tornadoes. This is Claire Stevens now, full head of steam into Brevard territory. Now for Murray, she's going to look to get across, but again, good defense by Brevard. Murray does go down. Stevens tries to go back to the middle. And that will be deflected out of bounds, and Stevens again will get set for another Southern Virginia corner, their 7th on the evening. And Colby, it seems like, you know, obviously Brevard were able to get the equalizer. And not that they're playing for penalties, but you can see they're starting to lock down defensively again. And not as focused maybe on the attack as they once were early on in the second half. This corner goes right towards the middle, but Brevard able to clear.
It certainly seems like it's getting a little bit more crowded on the Brevard end. You know, as the Knights try to use their offensive prowess to find a goal that'll put them ahead here in this championship match. There's still, you know, we got 20 minutes plus left here in the second half and potentially 20 more minutes after this. So there's still a lot of time before you hit the penalties. So I don't think either team is going to be satisfied at this point.
Zvikan on a rush. You got a good feed from Haley Kinney. Looking for a cross towards Katrina Gardner, who will calmly scoop that one up and snuff out any offensive attack from Brevard. This is Mattia Murray back with it from Gardner. Bit of a high kick that Murray's able to elude. Now Paige Varvery goes back to Murray. Good hustle by Tessa Miller. She's going to get to it. And that will deflect last off of Brevard in another corner for Southern Virginia. So they're going to try and convert on this third one within a few minutes and take the lead back. Just under 20 minutes to play in the second half of this championship match of the USA South. Stevens getting set.
Lacey Rackham, she's come back onto the field, replacing Tessa Miller as this corner kick gets hit.
Up high, contact into the box, just outside of the post. It will remain Southern Virginia possession. Last off a Brevard defender. Lots of bodies in the area, couldn't tell who it last touched. But we'll switch sides and have Ella Thomas take this one for the Knights. More power into this one. There it is, Winterton. Good block by NK Smoke at the post. As Winterton was able to get up above the defender, who seemed to have her boxed out, but good contact by Winterton, but a better save by NK Smoke. Third consecutive corner for Stevens. Again, up high, far side in the box. He scores, Winterton! Southern Virginia leads 2-1. Winterton inside the box. Lots of bodies, but she frees herself up. It is 2-1.
Like you mentioned, Quinn, 3 corners in a row there. Each one of them proved to be a little dangerous for Brevard, and finally that one. Even though that service may have been the weakest of the 3, it got up there a little bit high, but that gave McKenna time enough to come up and out-jump basically Arroyo and get that ball down to the ground into the goal.
And it seemed like Arroyo had the chance to grab that one as Macy Rowkins being assessed a yellow card for that tackle on Austin Huffman, who hit down hard. Hope she's okay. Ref didn't hesitate to book Rackham on that one. But yeah, as you said, maybe the weakest set of those 3 consecutive corners, as looked like Arroyo had the chance to grab it, but it was a little bit too far in front of where the ball was going to land. And McKenna Winterton won the race to that spot and puts it in for a much-needed boost for Southern Virginia to take the lead. NK Smoke puts it to the box herself. Not free kick, getting to it. Good play by her on Porcelli. A double hopper in on Gardner. She's able to grab it before Haley Kinney gets to her. Gardner's going to keep this in her hands and throw it, looking for Murray. Bounces over top of her. And last touched by Haley Bryan. Tia Murray, a through ball looking for the freshman Rackham. She's going to go back towards the middle looking for Winterton. Harris in the vicinity. Brevard having trouble with it. Eventually they clear. But not until Paige Varvarigos again stepping up to reject that clearance. This one's launched towards the near side as Ellie Owen looking for Mabel Harris, but it does deflect last off a Tornado, and Ella Thomas will throw in. So Ellie Owen approached by Kayla Sneakin. Harris tries to sidestep her, but then loses it. This is Tay Brown in control. She's got lots of speed and strength. Nice little back heel to her defender. But again, just a 2-1 game as Materia Murray in control, looking for Macy Rackham. Cross back towards the middle. Harris, a nice little one-toucher to McKenna Winterton. Good play by Autumn Wright to disrupt that one. Neat pass by Mabel Harris as Winterton was making a run on the ball, but the Knights will throw in.
You know, one thing we didn't really discuss, Quinn, would be what would Coach Dahl's game plan be in this situation right here, where there's now 16 minutes left in the match. The Knights hold a 1-goal lead. Will they continue to press them for a third goal, or will they maybe, I wouldn't say they're going to sit back, but maybe just try to possess the ball for longer periods of time than what they normally do?
Yeah, because it seems like their offense is the best defense. They're pinning Brevard down in their own end. As Winterton across back, look for Rackham. Harris now takes a crack at it. She scores! Mabel Harris, the captain, strikes again. It is 3-1 Southern Virginia.
There we go. Once again, the left foot of Mabel Harris. She's so good from that side. So many, several goals this year where she stepped up and hit them, one-timers with that left foot and buried them in the corner of the goal. So, right there, Mabel comes back with the answer to the question. Are they going to seek a third goal, or are they going to sit back, possess the ball for 2, 3, 4 minutes at a time? And like you said, sometimes your best defense is just a very good offense.
Just some wonderful play shots, though. First by Ellie Owen, obviously Winterton in the right area to head that second one home. But again, perfect placement by Mabel Harris. Kept it low, right through all the defenders, and of course the keeper, Nicole Arroyo. Now Austin Huffman, it's go time, she knows, for her squad. As they trail by 2. They're still in it, though. They're able to convert on their one shot so far this evening as Macy Rackham makes a run. Here on the near side, good play by Jason Oakley to come and disrupt that one. This is Harris again. She'll take a shot towards the box. Still up for grabs as Tay Brown gets to it. Control. She'll opt back for Ellie Owen, who switches directions, and now Miranda's Huber out. It's going to go off of Taylor Richardson out of bounds. The Knights will throw in. And of course, that second one to take the lead back certainly loosened them up, but you can tell, confidence is flowing for this Knights offense after that third goal.
Definitely you've seen just a little bit pick up in their step right now. McKenna Winterton, she's come off the field, take a little break here. I'd be surprised not to see her return here within the next couple minutes. Probably the last 10 minutes I'd expect to see her back on the field, even though she typically plays forward. She's so strong that she's a good defender and she's going to be in the mix there. But like you said, Brevard, now's the time they're going to have to pick it up a little bit and try and see if they can cut that 2-goal lead at least in half and give them a chance to tie it.
Nicole Arroyo, the keeper for Brevard, back to kick this one back off. Just 13.5 minutes remaining. Southern Virginia searching for their first ever USA South Conference tournament victory. They won the regular season, but they know they want this one. Audrey McKeon now making a rush. She strikes it. Good save. Arroyo bounces back out towards Harris. She looks for McKeon again until Brevard finally clears. That was, I think, Kiara Porcelli into that one. Macy Rackham will reset for Harris back up top. She turns and clears one back towards Audrey McKeon, bounces off a defender. And that one will hop off of, I think, MK Smoke, right near the goal line, in another corner for Southern Virginia.
Another good service there by Mabel Harris. Since her goal, she's put 2 balls over there toward that far post, hoping a teammate can get on the other end.
This one's loose, goes off on Tay Brown, but Brevard able to clear, neatly chipped over Claire Stevens. I think that's Taylor Richardson on the attack. Mabel Harris able to come back nicely and clear for the Knights. So a good mixture of freshmen getting into the action and scoring for the Knights, with Ellie Owen converting on that first one of the game. And then veteran players like McKenna Winterton and Mabel Harris getting on the board for the Knights here later in the second half. So a goal-filled second half so far. Brevard trying to get back in it and pot one to be within one, and then hopefully the equalizer for them. But they are running out of time, under 12 minutes to go. Near side for Autumn Wright. Okay, so you can get a good play by Ella Thomas to step up, looking for Rackham. Good play though by, that was number 14, Channing Barker, who's sent to the turf, but a foul called on Southern Virginia, I believe. So a free kick for Brevard. Going to try and launch this one further downfield. Harris is there to head it back out of bounds. Zviken and Huffman trying to combine to get an attack started for the Tornadoes. They're obviously going quickly as they're running out of time here in the second half. Harris clears this one. Rackham deflects it ahead, trying to free up some space for herself. She's gonna win the race towards the ball, but not till it's out of bounds, and a goal kick for Arroyo. This is Arroyo to kick off. See a couple of subs preparing to come in for Southern Virginia. Looks like Winterton might be coming back in for the Knights. Taylor Richardson in control. Mabel Harris, nice spin move to get around two defenders, still with it. This one goes out of bounds, last off of Autumn Wright.
And here come those three subs. Looks like Mabel Harris, Ellie Owen, and Macy Rackham will come out. And onto the field comes Jane Peterson, Natalie Blazer,
Morgan Romney in there too.
And McKenna Winterton. So 4 subs in total for the Knights.
And Colby, who's a player from each side that you think has stood out to you tonight so far in this championship match?
Oh, definitely Brown for Brevard. She came in off the bench, definitely gave them a spark, added some speed and strength to that line that they desperately needed. And of course, Arroyo in goal. Without her back there, and obviously without her foot, they're scoreless.
Dave Brown, just as you said, on cue, wreaking some havoc in the Knights' territory, but a good defensive play by the back line to disrupt that chance. Jane Peterson, a good move to free up some space.
If you're looking for one for the Knights, there's several players I don't think you can go wrong. You can always say McKenna Winterton, she's the player of the year. But honestly, she's had a very good game. But Ellie Owen, from her position up there, of course she got the first goal of the game, but she's really put the ball into some good spots, and really let the offense flow off of her foot tonight.
Yeah, Ellie, one of those freshmen that has certainly gained the trust of Coach Rob Dahl in the second half of the season, thrust into the starting lineup for many of those games down the stretch, including tonight, the championship match.
And then Mabel Harris, the last 10 minutes, she's pretty much dominated the game the last 10 minutes. So, just the Knights, it's what, they're really playing the way that we've come to expect this season. And they're now, just over 7.5 minutes away from capping it off with what was a goal from last season.
And as you mentioned, Colby, some really sweet footwork, and obviously the goal from Mabel Harris as this one's cleared towards the box. Bailey Ricker going towards it, just wide. think that was Jane Peterson, my mistake. Some really sweet footwork by Mabel Harris in the last 10 minutes, as she's been really tough to knock off the ball. And of course, that beautiful strike from the junior midfielder out of Lone Peak High School. Certainly a place known for their athletics in Utah.
Yeah, they've had a very good women's soccer program for many years, among, like you say, other sports. You know, there's a lot of athletes here at Southern Virginia from Lone Peak High School. So, you know, very, very happy to have maybe a little pipeline there. And, you know, certainly been, you know, Mabel Harris has been key to what this program has achieved over the last 2 seasons.
Brevard making a few substitutions of their own. Looks like Grace Black coming in there for the Tornado. She's one that we haven't seen too much of, as obviously I'm sure the Knights have kept an eye on her and been able to contain her quite well. But she leads Brevard in goals this season with 10. Other players for Brevard, Austin Huff, we've said a lot. She scored in their semifinal matchup versus Methodist. She's been all over the field tonight, wreaking some havoc for that back line of Southern Virginia. Again, both these squads searching for their first conference title in program history. Knights knocking on the door with just under 6 minutes remaining. They hold a 3-1 lead, thanks to goals from Ellie Owen, McKenna Winterton, and Mabel Harris.
You know, another name we should mention from Brevard, Quinn, is, again, Abby Worsencroft. She went off the field about 15 minutes ago with an injury. She was a name we were calling all night long up until that injury, and certainly, you know, a player that, you know, the Brevard team, you know, needed, you know, to remain on the field. We, you know, great game played by her, and we certainly wish her the best, you know, with whatever injury forced her to leave this contest.
Yeah, Worsencroft, a senior defender, a defensive stalwart for this defensively minded Brevard squad, so she's kind of spearheaded that for this program. As Colby said, we hope she's doing all right, as she has not come back into this game. As we have a night down, head athletic trainers are keeping an eye on her. I didn't quite catch what happened, but there's contact or maybe hit by the ball possibly. I think that was maybe Tessa Miller. Can't quite make out who it was on the ground, but they seem to be okay and good spirits.
Yeah, it looks like that was Tessa Miller.
Knights on the free kick, now just 5.5 remaining. This one's gonna be cleared into the box. It goes, deflected. Winterton, she's got it! It looked like there were a couple of deflections. Not sure if it was last touch by Winterton, was a deflection at the top of the box, but they're gonna wave it off. I think there was an offside call probably on McKenna Winterton. Not quite sure if he grabbed her on that, Colby, but it seemed like that might have been the call. I'm not sure if the flag went up. I wasn't looking in that direction.
Yeah, there was definitely a flick on by one of the Knight players there in the box, and yeah, I didn't get a good view of everything, but McKenna was definitely the only player there between the goal and the goalie. So likely a good call. Likely a good call by the official there.
Good eye by the line judge. As McKenna Winterton lets loose on that attempt, but it skies over top of the crossbar and the netting surrounding Knight Stadium, as that'll send the Knights crew fishing in the woods.
We wish them the best late at night. You never know what they might encounter out there.
Battle for possession in the middle of the field. Tay Brown and Brevard right in the middle of it. They're going to be able to clear this in the space of Taylor Richardson, but at last touches her. Knights will have possession. Off of Natalie Blazer's head, back out of bounds. wasn't expecting that one. Kiara Porcelli's gonna send it back to her teammate on the far side. Brevard still throwing in, trying to make something happen as the clock ticks down. It certainly is not their friend at this point in the game. And they're just going to clear this one out of their territory, but not until it reaches one of the 5 defenders back for the Knights. This is Haley Gadd in control. Boxed out by Jane Peterson, a foul called on Autumn Wright though. That will allow the Knights a free kick now under 3 minutes remaining in the USA South Championship match. 1 seed Southern Virginia leading the 3 seed Brevard College, 3-1 currently. Huber's going to clear this one low to the far side, then deflected back towards the box. Arroyo able to collect that one and jumpstart the rush. This is Grace Black, leading scorer for the Tornadoes. She's been contained pretty well by the Knights so far. This is Annalise Huber going back. Of course, the Knights not in any hurry to advance, but their possession of the ball is their best friend and best defense at this point. Autumn Wright Knights tries to make a fancy move around Jane Peterson, but it rolls off her foot out of bounds. Knights will throw in with Natalie Blazer receiving that one. Back towards the middle we go. This is Richardson. She gets it stolen. Now Jane Peterson back the other way for the Knights. She's trying to go wide. That was good defense from Channing Barker, the senior from Dunlap, Tennessee. And a corner for the Knights. Really been able to wreak havoc on those corners in this second half. Not too much success in the first with regards to that, but
this is their 7th corner of the second half. And you know, at this stage of the game, corners are always good for 30, 40 seconds off the clock.
Well, Thomas is going to send that one towards the box, but it stays to the right of the post and goal line. So a goal kick for Nicole Arroyo. 1 minute remaining in play. Knights fans starting the countdown here at Knight Stadium. This is Natalie Blazer with it. Just gonna dust that one off for her teammate, I think Tessa Miller. Bard's gonna intercept that one and make one last rush back the other way. Good play by Haley Gadd, defensively stepping up. Now Tia Brown with it. Bard, one final run. Grace Black going after it before Ella Thomas can feed Katrina Gardner. That deflects off of Black. A really powerful kick by Gardner. Knights in control. Just 20 seconds remaining in the play. Students starting to line the fence here at Knight Stadium to start that countdown. Winterton, one last rush, taken down. We'll probably say play on here in the last 10 seconds as it's cleared out. And your 2023 USA South champions are Southern Virginia University, taking down the 3 seed Brevard College 3-1 here at Knight Stadium in Buena Vista, Virginia.
Another well-played game by Southern Virginia. Of course, we've seen them improve as the season went on. Coach Dahl had a very difficult schedule, non-conference schedule that they really went through the ringer, and it's paid off as we've seen the last 3 weeks as they've steadily improved. And of course, hats off to Brevard. Great game plan by Coach Mascaro. They came in, were able to execute it. The first 55, 60 minutes of the match, and then unfortunately for Brevard, the offense of Southern Virginia just proved to be a little too much.
Certainly for Brevard, their best season in program history. They had made the conference tournament the past 5 years since entering the NCAA. Hadn't been able to make it past the first round. Not only did they make it past the first round this year, but they take down the reigning champs in the semifinal, then gave the regular season champions a really good go. And the game was tied at 1 deep into the second half. So good effort by Brevard. Lots of seniors on their squad, so a tough way to go down. But certainly hats off to them and their head coach, Coach Mascaro. But a good ending for Southern Virginia. Obviously, this is their first conference championship in the USA South in program history as they approach the students and fans of their squad. They were just stout defensively all year long, dominated on offense. As we mentioned, only conceding 1 goal in conference play through the regular season. Of course, conceded 1 tonight. But not the matters. They got on the score sheet 3 times from Ellie Owen, McKenna Winterton, and Mabel Harris. Colby, any last thoughts from you, and then we'll let everybody just enjoy it. Enjoy the celebration unfold.
No, final thoughts are just a great season by Coach Dahl and all the players that make up the Southern Virginia soccer team. You know, a lot of them very popular around campus. Everybody wishing them well today. And I know that they're excited because this means a berth in the NCAA tournament.
That is an important thing to note, that winning your conference championship gives you an automatic berth into the NCAA conference tournament. So stay tuned on the Knights Athletics website and NCAA website for the time and date of their first round matchup, their first berth in the NCAA tournament and program history. But for now, we'll let you head down to the field and enjoy the ceremony for your 2023 USA South Conference champions.
Hello, stop. First and foremost tonight, we would like to honor Brevard on an amazing season and making it all the way to the championship game. Thank you so much, ladies. Congrats on a great year. Now, at this time, please direct your attention to the field as USA South representative Tom Burns presents the 2023 Women's Soccer Tournament Most Valuable Player. This year's MVP from Southern Virginia, McKenna Winterton! The remaining all-tournament team members will be announced on the USA South Athletics website. Let's give a round of applause to all the teams and student athletes who participated in this year's tournament. And now, the 2023 USA South Women's Soccer Tournament Championship trophy goes to the Southern Virginia University! Ladies and gentlemen, one more huge round of applause for your champion man! Fans, you may now enter the field to join the celebration. For one last time this season, thank you for coming to the field and supporting Southern Virginia University Athletics. As you leave, please remember to collect all personal belongings, pick up any trash, travel safe, and we will catch you next time.